Hello and welcome to another fun-filled Sunday.
Fuck off, asshole! Leave me alone! Don't you know it's fucking Sunday?
Haha, that's really cool. It's really interesting. Hello, my name is Ben Hameen, and welcome again to another happy, fun, full of love, fun-filled Sunday. And it's lovely to be here with you again. I sure do feel good. I hope you feel good as well. I hope you feel just a little bit as good as I do, because if that's the case, then you feel pretty fucking good. This patch is really interesting. So what I did is let me explain what I wanted to do, and then I'll explain to you what I accidentally did. And what wound up making it really, really cool. So I was trying to actually control something sensible. I was trying to control this mix control of the reverb with a fader on my MIDI controller. And by mistake, I wound up hitting a key. And what happens when you hit a key is that it responds to that key. So if you'll notice, when I hit it lightly, the reverb doesn't actually trigger nearly as hard, and if you can really try your best to really kind of dial it back, you can actually get really low tones with the reverb. But then when you pound on it, it's full reverb. So it's almost like, what's really interesting is it's like the ghost of a note for a split second. If you really hear it, it's just like all the spatial harmonics of that note that just exist in just a split second of time and then just suck right back into the original sound. And it only responds to that one note. That's cool, because so when I hit the other notes, it doesn't respond, but when I hit that one note, it's ghost note every time. It's cool. It's really cool, because then it goes right back. Because when I'm taking my finger off, that treats it as the trigger to go back down to zero. So that's a really, really interesting way to dial any effect, if you think about it, like any sort of effect, not just the mix control of a reverb, but any effect, anything. Think about any knob on this thing. Like, I happen to click this one and say MIDI learn, okay? And I was trying to hit a fader, something like this is a fader, right? That's what this is. And I was trying to hit a fader, and I did this completely by accident. And it sounds so freaking cool. So just remember that, boys and girls. You know, some of these things really do just happen by accident. You strike gold, and I'm going to remember this I'm gonna remember this, ladies and gents, a few casual moments in to episode number 6 of Sunday Funday. And we're 5 minutes in, we haven't even made it to our topic. Our topic for today is the wonderful and giving Reaktor community, the gift that really never stops giving. And if I highlight for a second a module that's got a little bit of help in here, a little bit of info, 4-channel voice allocation block for making polyphonic patches. And I guess that's what you could say that it does. What it looks like it does, if I come into the edit view, is it has 1 pitch, 2 pitch, 3 pitch, 4 pitch, 1 gate, 2 gate, 3 gate, 4 gate, and that's kind of what I figured. You know, when you look at the lights and you look at the mix control, you can kind of sense what's going on. You can sense that it's cycling through some sorts of sounds, and when you really look at it, it's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. It starts to make sense. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. See, even I get confused. Sweet. So what it's basically doing is it's sending a pitch signal and a gate signal out through each of these, and then it's controlling the 1 path, the 2 path, the 3 path, and the 4 path. Pretty straightforward, and then going into the mixer and a reverb. So super, super cool. And what this is, this V-split, the entire way that this synth can run and the way that it does, with sort of 4 completely different patches basically running into a mixer, is with this V-split module. And this module came from the Reaktor User Community. And it literally is, it's the gift that never keeps on giving. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. It's the gift that never stops giving, that keeps on giving. It gives and gives and gives, boys and girls. It never stops giving. When you buy Reaktor, you have access to this wonderful, not only do you have access to the extensive user library that comes with Reaktor, which is extensive. Make no mistake. It's incredible. But on top of that, you also get access to the user community, which is something that I have to build an entire folder for. And everyone's going to have their navigation set up the way they want. I have mine set up in my Reaktor 6 folder so that it's its own folder. And I have standalone ensembles, I have effects, and I have Reaktor Blocks right now, all functionally separated. And I'm even going into categories for different stuff for instruments because it's just getting so hectic at the moment. But my library is extensive at the moment. I haven't even tried it all. And that's what part of this episode is for, to try to dive into some of the unknown, some of the murky, misty, dark, deep, unknown gift that keeps on giving, that is the Reaktor User Community. And so I created a folder for it, and I encourage you to do the same. Create some sort of a method to your madness for being able to keep up with all this stuff, because it can be a lot. You can wind up downloading quite a bit of stuff. Instruments is really where it's at, because ISM files, and I'm going to point this out, so there's some differences here. When you create an instrument is called an ensemble. We've gotten to episode number 6, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to go over a key concept here in Reaktor. An instrument is not an instrument. An instrument is a collection, and generally speaking, when you're thinking about Reaktor, an instrument is a collection or an assembly of things that each one serve a specific function, together work functionally to serve a purpose, like create this cool thing that we're hearing. This instrument is called an ensemble. In Reaktor, it's called an ensemble. And the individual modules, you might call them a block, or you might call them a module, as I just did. In Reaktor terminology, it is an instrument. It's an ISM file. So when you're looking at Reaktor blocks and you're looking at ensembles, I opened up one of these ensembles. I can't remember which, so I'm going to have to find that out. But I opened up one of these really cool ensembles, and it has all the instruments or all the blocks built into it. When I go into the instruments folder, this is where it gets awesome, because this is where I then have access to all the instruments or the individual blocks, such as the V-split and a number of other blocks which I've downloaded over time. And I'm starting to try to organize some of them into their own folders, just because there's a lot. And you can, as I said, you can go crazy. There's a lot of stuff that you can download. So again, get some sort of organization method to your madness. Hopefully you can find things and you're in a pinch. And that's what I want to be able to do, is I want to find creative, cool things in a bind and quickly, so I can be creative. That's all I do. So what I want to show you is I actually want to show you how to get to the Reaktor user community real quick. And then I want to build something using basically mostly blocks that I've downloaded from the user community. So things are gonna get weird, and it's gonna get awesome. So what I'm gonna do now is we're going to take a peek at how to get to the user community. Now I have a shortcut set up here in Firefox. What I would suggest is you do the same eventually when you get there, but you can get there by clicking on Community and going to Reaktor Community, and then going to Reaktor User Library. Now, key here is you do need to be logged in order to download things. So I suggest you go ahead and, remember what your username and password is, the same one that, of course, you registered the product with. And, of course, you're greeted with just a number of things that look amazing just out of the gate. I downloaded this thing yesterday. I haven't messed with it yet. It's just like, what the hell is this? Decimate. So you click on it and you find out. Decimate is on sale. I downloaded this yesterday. Decimate is on sale in my store up front. However, I'm hosting it here for free. Ooh, if you wish to purchase a copy of it using the link below, Decimate takes a floating point signal and outputs values based on 8ths of its floating point decimal values, and then it's scaled to fit within blocks range. Max slew time of 60s. Try feeding it really slow, randomly stop source. So it's a modulation source, I believe. I would have to look it up and try to find out. Yeah, it looks like sound processor modulation, CV processor. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, sir. And see, that's the thing. Author. I can go right to his. Looks like I can open up Jonathan's page and see just what he's released. It looks like I can, from this particular block that I opened up, this happened to be a block that I opened up, I can go to modulation tools, CV processor. I can open up these tags and just go down rabbit holes just in these. All sorts of things. So what's really awesome is there's categories and there's different ways that you can search the system to find what you're looking for. And I've found this really helpful too. If you need to look up blocks, for example. And then with the blocks category selected, you could search something like oscillator. And there we have it. Ton of different examples of different oscillators. I don't even think I have this one. VCO A driver and 3 VCOBs, X, Y, and Z. What is this? Someone took some time to actually put a little nice picture together. It looks just pretty classic. It looks pretty sweet. I don't know what it is, but I'm game. What is this? Thank you. Fantastic. A year ago. Yeah, let's do it. See what that's about at some point. And I don't know if that's a block. It kind of looks like a block. Looks like it's got an AB modulation input. So as you can see, oh dirty bastard, there's just so much stuff. There's just so much stuff available here. It's like a freaking Rubik's Cube. Yet another noise generator. Wow, just brilliant. This is awesome. I love this block, like a compact scroll. Let's hear a demo. Yes, please. I think so. That sounded awesome, whatever that was. Let's download that. Yep. And see, as you can see, you can go crazy. And so eventually, you know, integrate these into your library, and then you have access to them, complete access to them within Reaktor. And it's amazing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go into building a little something something. Just building a little synth just to illustrate the generosity and the power of integrating kind of what we already know with Reaktor Core and building inside of blocks to what we can download from the user library. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a new block. And let's see what we got. I'm not gonna, you know what? I'm gonna just keep the knobs for now, just in case. I'm gonna keep both. I don't really know what I'm doing yet. So I'm gonna lose the scope for now. I'm just gonna move this guy out a little bit. And all right, let's see what we got. Community, Reaktor Blocks. I want to go to Instruments, and I want to go to this is actually kind of worth looking up. I'm going to go to something called Euro React, and this is pretty incredible. So I'm going to actually kind of pull up Euro React if I can on the community page. Here we go. Euro React 4.3. So donations, please see donations. I live in Houston. It pains me to see how much destruction has occurred in this wonderful place. Yes, and if you can help out this guy's donations page, I encourage you to do so for the Harvey relief effort, which is ongoing, as you know. But what is incredible about this stuff is he's basically this guy. Thank you so much to Mr. Michael Hetrick. This guy, and just reading about some of the updates and some of the blocks that are included. What this guy's been able to do is he's been able to incorporate a lot of different ideas from various projects that he's been involved in, as well as ideas from literally modular synthesizers that exist in the hardware world. And he's been able to incorporate them into a huge series of Reaktor blocks. So there is all sorts of stuff in here, from oscillators to mixers to effects and delays and just all sorts of different stuff. And I encourage you very much to check this out. So without spending too much time geeking out on that, I'm actually going to use some of EuroReact's stuff. Let's see what we got here. Oscillators. So let's use an FM oscillator and a fold oscillator. And I don't know much about that. I've never used either of these yet. So let's just learn about them as we go. I don't know what a pulsar oscillator is, but let's give it a shot. And let's go ahead and say, I think, you know what? I think that'll do it. And you know what? If we're gonna do 3, I mean, we might as well. You might as well do 4. I mean, right? I mean, we might as well. So let's see what this is. I can't even pronounce that, but it looks like something. Cool. So I'm gonna say Car Plus, Pulsar, FM, and Fold. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mix those into something called a vector mix, which is a very, 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 very interesting mixer that basically takes the signals and allows you to, via two very simple controls on the front panel, allows you to basically mix between the 4 signals that you send into it in a very interesting way. So it's basically it's a crossfader, but a 4 signal crossfader that actually uses an XY scale of crossfading. So you can actually somewhat crossfade diagonally between these two or upward between these two. It's very interesting in how you can set it up. So what I'm gonna do is kind of use these oscillators and go into the vector mix, and then noise. This just caught my eye. Noise and chaos, probability noise. What does this do? Binary noise generator. Let's maybe actually replace. I just kind of added this without even really thinking about it. So let's actually use a noise generator instead. And let's have that actually kind of the last thing here and just promote everything else upward. There we go. So, and now about all this. All right, utilities. What else do we have here? Manual gates, meta control. I mean, there's just, it's just your React just by itself. There's all sorts of stuff. Oh my God. All right, let's use a tape delay because I actually wanted to check this out. So let's check it. Let's check it out. And then what we're going to do is we are going to get some filters involved. So let's actually mix it up. We're going to get out of Euro React and we're just going to poke around, see if we can find anything. What is this? Multi-filter. So I'm just going into SVF. This kind of looks like the same filter that's already in the bento box stuff. It might have some, it might be modded a little bit. I'm sure it is since I added it to that folder, but let's just see if we can find something else here. Just a little bit different. Just give us a little bit of different flavor. So I wonder what all this stuff is. Yeah, not sure about that. That's all oscillators. Deadpan. What's this? Multicomb. Not so much. I'll tell you what. Euro React is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So let's go to, what do we got for filters in here? Effects, maybe it's in here. This is gate, reverb, mixing maybe, no, modulation, noise and chaos, no, not so much. You know what? And we can mix and match and do whatever the hell we want. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a filter randomly because I'm tired of poking around. So what I'm going to do as I get my bearings here, I'm going to basically just add a standard bento box filter. So it's the same one it's the same one I wound up putting up earlier. And then I'm just gonna patch her in. I don't think so. It's a tape delay doing that. It's a little too unpredictable right now, you know, and that's okay. Sometimes you open doors and you're like, oh, fudge that. But it wasn't a tape delay. And what we need to do, of course, is add our VCA and ADSR combo. Of course we need to do this. I mean, like, come on. Every dumbass knows we need to do this. I mean, like, come on. This is simple, right? It's so simple. So we got stuff all over the place, of course, but that's fine. We'll just come up here and fix all this business here in just a little bit. But we got this running here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to just use the gate. We're going to make things simple. We're going to use the gate from the utility. I'm going to patch in the pitch and start hearing some noise. I notice here lately, probability noise. Ooh, all you can do is modulate it. I like that. No pitch. No pitch on that guy. Just gonna have to modulate it with something. I'm gonna find something. But what we should be doing now is hearing some sound. All right, cool. So we have something. I don't know what we got yet. But we got something. Pulsar, FM, fold, and noise. So let's go back to the panel and let's start playing around. Cool. And then let's add the filter and the mix. This is one of my favorite things. Favorite things. All right, let's just kind of make everything a little bit more tight. A little bit more tight. Nice and tight. All right. Much better. So now this is what I love. So what this appears to do is fade between the left and the right. So both in this case right now, because this control has not been touched at all, what I'm hearing right now is a combination between the A and the C signals. I don't even know what that is. I could label this up. I kind of like it being unpredictable right now. So right now I'm just fading back and forth, and then that's B and D. Interesting. And then this fades up the Y-axis. So this actually now fades between C and D. and A and B. So using this, you could fade between each one diagonally and kind of do different stuff. So that's what's really, really sweet about this. So let's kind of see what we got here. Let's call this A. Let's call this B. Let's call this C. Let's call this a D. So that must be that D. Must be dropping that D. Because it's just passing noise right in. So the moment that D has anything to say about anything, that's all you got. Noise. Boom. And I could add some modulation to this. I could do whatever the hell I want. But I'm not going to right now. Let's use that crazy idea from the very beginning of the episode. And oh, weird. All right, so let's do that. As you can no doubt see, this is really powerful stuff. You know, these modules were not created by me; they were created by people much smarter than me, and they were just given to me. They were given to us people that like to muck around inside a Reaktor and build things and create new sounds, create unexpected things. So I think that's gonna about do it for today's episode, boys and girls. And I have been Ben Hameen. Thank you so much. Until next time.